Is it?
We are live.
We are officially live. Start with Bullhead.
Absolutely.
Joel, you don't drink, do you?
No, I don't. But I got my. Wait a minute, they didn't pay me for no sponsor. I got my drink.
Perfect.
You got any NAs in there, Tim? I don't think so. I drink
got
a lot of NA beers.
I got a Lone Star Light, switching it up a little bit.
There you go.
They're $16 for a 30 rack.
Nice.
I'm learning to like them.
I was going to say, does it taste like it's $16 for a 30 rack?
I actually kind of like them. I didn't know they were super cheap. The first one I had was at a restaurant. They're like, we don't have Busch Light. And I said, do you have anything kind of like Busch Light? They said they had Lone Star Light. So I tried it. I'm like, oh, this isn't bad. And then went to the grocery store a week or two later and saw it sitting there. I'm like, $16 for 30 of them? Wow.
That's cheap.
I'm now a fan.
Yeah.
Now, back when I did drink the Dirty 30 of Stones, the Keystone Lights, that was our go-to. I don't even remember how much they were, but they were cheap, and we drank a lot of them.
I really enjoyed the Keith Stone commercials.
Yes.
Those.
Oh, yeah.
I kind of wish they'd bring those ones back and then bring in the "Was Up" Bud Light commercials back.
Once in a while, you get a little throwback. Somebody will throw something like that into their commercials.
Usually around the Super Bowl time, they start throwing out some throwback commercials.
Yeah.
Sure. All right, so let's start with just some good old tackle tips.
Before we jump in, I am in my recliner that I did not take advantage of, but it now has a beer holder and then a cup holder for my beer and my spitter.
So the only thing you're missing is a toilet in the like where you can.
Let me go get a knife. Hold on.
How well does it hold ice?
Well, I don't usually drink slow enough for my beers to get warm.
Is it like Yeti quality?
It is leather pleather quality.
Mm. So it's more like the Walmart version.
Yeah.
What's the Walmart coolers?
Arctic?
No.
Ozark Trail. Ozark Trail.
Yeah.
Hey, they work good. I mean, I got a gray or a tan and orange one, and they're super thick and heavy. But that thing, man, I'd fill it up with shad and ice, and those work great for the money.
I'm kind of a cooler snob, and I won't argue that they don't work okay. But Arctic, I think, is the best bang for the buck as far as ice retention, and then like versus how much you pay. Like Yeti, you pay for a name. I think the ice, like the ice test videos, I think the Cabela's one is the one that does like consistently does top, and it's kind of mid range.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't want to say I have a cooler fetish because it sounds weird, but
hey, it is. Everybody's into their stuff. I won't judge, man.
Yeah. So
I mean, for your lifestyle, a cooler's pretty important.
But the amount of coolers I have is kind of excessive.
Well, they all have a purpose.
They do.
Each one has a situation where it's the go-to.
Yeah.
Until it just sits on the bench.
And I've got a couple coolers outside the bait shop right now that I'm scared to open. One thing
I've had that.
One thing I learned was that I don't know what happens if it's like a chemical breakdown, but if you leave Chubbs, if you leave Chubbs, about 70 of them in a big igloo cooler with some water, if you leave it there for a couple weeks, it smells horrible. But if you leave it there for like 4 months, you'll open it up and there's no smell. It's like it breaks down and turns in. It's crazy, man. I thought it was going to be way worse than it was, and it wasn't that bad. So
that's probably a new energy source at that point.
Yeah.
You put it in your lawnmower.
The big brother's going to put a hit out on me because I found out the secret.
No, I'm pretty sure it's because the bacteria breaks everything down, and one of the reasons it smells so bad is the bacteria's waste adds to the stink, I think.
One of my smart friends, Matt Weber, he broke that down for me and gave me the scientific reason on why that happened. So you're onto something.
Yeah,
man, I wish I had smart friends.
Yeah, me too.
If he was smart, he wouldn't be my friend. Yeah.
Well, Joel, I'm gonna go grab me a beer. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Right on. Joel Ryben. I own Anchor Inn Bait and Tackle here in Council Bluffs, Iowa. Been open almost 5 years now, and I'm a recovering alcoholic. I got 9 years as of about a week ago, but I don't judge. Crack one open. I still drink a bunch of NA beers, and all my buddies still drink. I still do the same stuff I used to do, except now I don't have the excuse. Sorry, I was drunk. I'm just an idiot because I did it sober.
Good for you, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. I may be a future recovering alcoholic.
Yeah. You're a practice. We call those practicing alcoholics. Yeah. Practicing.
Where'd the name Anchor Inn come from?
So my dad, Jeff Ryben, he had the Anchor Inn Bar and Grill on the Missouri River. It was basically right in between Carter Lake and Omaha. So it's there's like a state line there on the other side of the river. And so he had Anchor Inn Bar and Grill on the river for 27 years before the flood of 2011 took us out. And man, we had like national acts, Vince Neil of Motley Crue, Pat Benatar, 38 Special, the Wailers, Cottonmouth Kings, all kinds of different guys, Johnny Lang.
That's a pretty wide dynamic.
Oh, yeah. All different demographics, man.
Waylon Jennings to Cottonmouth Kings.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, no. So my dad passed away in 2014, and me and my buddy Tim Spate, we were doing renovations during COVID, and on my lunch break, we'd always talk about it. I got crazy ideas. I think anybody that knows me knows that. And I was like, man, dude, we need to open up a bait and tackle shop. And I'm pretty persuasive at times, so I can talk people into stuff. Sure. And we did it, and we ended up getting this building, and we couldn't think of a name for a while. And then one day I just woke up and I saw one of the old Anchor Inn shirts, and I'm like, you know what? Let's just keep the name alive and do Anchor Inn. And it's stuck, and it's been great.
Dude, I love that. That's cool. Little nod, little tribute to your old man. That's pretty darn awesome.
For sure.
So you have like music history, like backstory too. We talked a little bit a while ago, but we never got into that. But I'm pretty sure I saw some posts and things about all that.
So yeah, I was in the music industry. This is a funny story. It started as a joke. One of my best friends from childhood, his rap name was Fro Frizzle, and he's really talented. And he had this deal where he was getting on the radio station with Houston Alexander. He's an MMA fighter. He used to be UFC. He's from Omaha, and he was real big into the local music scene. So somehow Fro got it to where he could go on the radio, and he's like, hey man, I need you to come in and like act as my manager, like so we look more official. So I'm like, all right, let's do this. So I put on I put on managerial clothes. I don't know what that consisted of at the time, but so I went in and he introduced me as his manager. And then I don't know if I forgot that I wasn't really his manager, and we just kept rolling, and I became his manager for years. And Jelly Roll, I knew Jelly Roll through my past, and he was blowing up in the music scene. I was like, hey man, I think you should do a song with this guy. I think it'll be good for your career. And it's funny because he was like, nah, I'm not really digging that guy's stuff, and I don't see him making it anywhere. And but he's like, you know what? You're my manager, so I'll listen to you. I paid $300 for them to do a song with Jelly Roll. And that's probably like 300,000 now. But we ended up doing the song, and he was in Kansas City. Jelly Roll was in Kansas City, and he hit me up, was like, hey, I'm probably going to come through there. We should link up and grab some food. And me and him hopped in their Econoline Ford like conversion van. That was his tour bus at the time. We went out went out to eat at a local restaurant here in town, and just kind of kept in contact. And then as he started doing more touring, he'd hit me up anytime they got close to our city, and we'd show up to the show. And I was drinking at the time heavily, and we just ended up partying and kind of being roadies and rolling with them to different shows across the country. Next thing you know, we're staying at his condo in Mount Juliet, right up north of Nashville, and just became good friends, man. And I saw a lot of different struggles that he went through early in his career, and yeah, we ended up kicking it off and kept in contact. And then I ended up just going on tour with them on the regular with Fro, and man, I met a ton of people in that life. About 4 years of touring, and worked with Bubba Sparks, Yellow Wolf, Jelly Roll, of course. Got to meet all kinds of different people. So Bone Thugs and Harmony, Tech Nine. I mean, I could go on. A bunch of big names. MGK. I mean, it was really cool to kind of meet all those people, and it's Jelly is exactly like you see him on TV and on his podcasts and stuff. He's the most down to earth, humble, heartwarming guy, man. It's really cool to see him get the success that he deserves.
So that all sounds crazy as shit, man. But where does fishing fit into the rock star lifestyle?
I have no idea. It really doesn't, other than,
So why'd you start a bait shop? Like, when I think of somebody starting a bait shop, usually there's like some love of fishing.
Well, yeah, no, I've always loved fishing. I love outdoors, mushroom hunting. And honestly, the reason why I started the shop is there's a local bait shop in town, and I sold cars at Edwards Auto Group here in town, and I would always quit during mushroom season. And the president, Troy Radigan, he'd be like, "It's about that time, Doc. Aren't you disappearing soon?" And I'd just leave for 3 months. And it got to the point where I didn't even ask. I just left. And then they hired me back when I came back. But on my lunch break, I would, so Edwards is about, I don't know, 2 blocks that way from my shop. And then the other bait shop's right down the road. So I was in there every day on my lunch break. I go down there and get like 6 or 7 minnows and just go to the lake and fish for an hour and go back to the dealership. And catfishing and stuff was always my forte. That's what I like doing. I think it was because you don't really have to be good. You just got to go, half the time
I agree.
You just got to be there, and so that's what I did. I did a lot of fishing on my off time. And I'll tell you, fishing saved my life for more than one reason. I'm pretty open about my past. I went to prison July 31st, 2007 for marijuana. And when I got out, I had a decision to make whether or not I was going to go right back to that same lifestyle with the same people, or, kind of get in touch with myself and figure myself out, and I fished every single day when I got out and got to know the DNR real well. And that, again, I was drinking at that time. And I remember at Lake Manawa, which is right behind us, I woke up one morning to a guy yelling at me. I'm like, the hell, there was a raccoon like on my lap eating my goldfish out of the bucket. And like, it was crazy, man. And like, yeah, I woke up and cleaned up, whatever. But like, I was fishing every single day. My parole officer, I wasn't allowed to leave the house after curfew, but I kept going. I was like, I'm still going fishing, man. And it got to the point where he's like, all right, well, as long as you're going to be fishing in this spot, if you're not home, I'll come here and find you. And I just fished every single day for, rain, sleet, shine. It didn't matter. I was fishing. And that's always been my mental health release, just sitting next to the water with nobody else. I don't really like humans that much, so I would just go fish.
I get it.
Yeah. I barely tolerate Ryan. So
yeah.
Well, if you're rolling with fellas like Houston, I met him a couple times because my family owns actually a couple MMA organizations.
Cool.
So back when he was just coming up, my nephew was kind of coming up the same thing. So he's a nut. That dude, for real, a fighter.
Yeah, no, he's about that life. He is the definition of being about that life. Yeah.
He's a guy that you don't want to see in an alley.
No.
That's where he lives.
Yep. Straight up, man.
What's that?
Who are we talking about?
Houston Alexander. He was on, I don't know if he was on one of the tough shows or where you fight your way into the organization, but he had some absolute wars in the UFC. Guys, he shouldn't have even been in there, as far as strategic wise, level wise, but he's just so tough that it didn't matter.
Yeah, he's now doing bare knuckle. Was it BKFC or BKFC, bare knuckle fighting club or whatever? And
I can see that,
dude. He's knocked him. I think he had 2 knockouts. I think he got beat the last match, but dude's just an animal. And then Terrence Crawford, if you've heard that name, he's from Omaha. They both ran the same streets in North Omaha, which is a rough part of town, and just fighting's in their blood.
Hell yeah. That's some wild stuff, man. And all this leads back to a bait shop. That's how I know who you are. Right. You started this bait shop. How do you go about starting a bait shop?
And it really started to kind of get back to that. The Morel mushroom thing. I sold a lot of mushrooms. If you've seen any of my posts,
Morel mushrooms, right?
Yes.
Well, whatever I got.
Yeah. We just started traveling, and Facebook was just kind of getting big, and we seen some posts that people were finding mushrooms in Oklahoma, and there's snow on the ground here. And me and my buddy looked at each other like, well, let's go to Oklahoma then. So we drove down to Oklahoma, was hunting mushrooms, and I started selling a bunch of them. This was when they were $20 a pound, and I was like, damn, dude, we're making some good money at this. So I built up a pretty good name for the mushrooms. I started getting them from the mountains, and I just was dead set that I had to find a retail location to sell Morel mushrooms during the season, because being the guy selling mushrooms at the gas station, it was just kind of the shady way to buy Morel mushrooms. That's just how people did it, though. And I was like, I got to find a place that we can sell mushrooms 3 months out of the season, because it's an extended season for a guy like us, guys like us that travel. And that was the main reason why I opened. And I was like, it just goes hand in hand. People that like mushrooms and mushroom hunting, they fish too. And I figured it was a good way to combine two businesses in the outdoor world together, and it works.
So I heard a saying that people that trap can hunt and fish. People that hunt can also fish, and people who fish, they can just fish sometimes. Where do you think the hunter gatherer, the Morel mushrooms fits in there? Do you think that would make you a better fisherman or hunter?
I think so. There's an aspect of pushing through, and that kind of comes through in patience, because you can walk for miles and not find one mushroom. And you got to have that. He's like, from experience. Yeah. So you can, it takes a certain type of guy to just keep trying, and you got to get up over that next hill and see what's over there. And same thing with fishing. You can sit there for hours and hours and not get a bite. But when you stick it out, you end up getting that gold at the end of the rainbow.
I mean,
there's nothing better than going over that next ridge and finding that tree with 70, 80 morels underneath it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'll send you some videos, man. This last season was nuts. There's days where, we found 500-600 pounds in one day between a couple guys.
That's hard to.
Yeah, we got videos, and This was the best year I'd ever had.
It's just this little amateur mushroom hunter occasionally. I think in high school, there was one year where it was just bonkers. Like going out and picking 10 pounds was not a big deal. It was a super special year. And I think there was one day where I picked probably 20 pounds in a day.
Yep.
And I've never seen anything like that.
It was probably, I would imagine that was during the like Dutch elm disease, or like there's a couple, like the trees, the fruiting trees. There was like 3 or 4 years where all over the country. Are you talking Iowa?
Yeah, it was 2005.
Okay.
It was my sophomore year of high school.
Yep. So, that was more than likely during, I think, the Dutch elm disease when it was coming through Iowa real good. And
the weird thing was, like, we found them everywhere. Like, I picked one that was growing next to a freaking stop sign.
Yeah, it's
like stop right sign identified with a dead elm tree, I guess.
Right when you try to figure them out, and you're like, you only find them here, or that they'll remind you that you have no idea what you're doing.
Yeah, my early spot every year, I find them on. It's a gravel pit, and I find them on a bare gravel embankment. That's the first place I find them every single year.
I'll show you real quick.
I have no clue.
No trees.
So that big. See that banner back there? That's, Morel mushrooms for sale. I blast that all over town, and now I don't even really have to do that. And people just show up. They know where to come get mushrooms without getting ticks.
You're the dealer.
You're the shroom dealer.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Known far and wide. You have a reputation now.
I do. That's one thing. I don't like to pat myself on the back very often. I'm not very good at taking compliments, but when it comes to mushrooms, I'm pretty well known, and I got a good name in the industry, and it's easy to get a bad name because people short people pounds of mushrooms, and they're not supposed to rent them, and people like to soak them in water so they weigh more. And I'm very, very dedicated to putting out a good quality product, and I'm certified. I had to get certified by Iowa State University for the certification, and I got nationwide. I know people all over the country just because of mushrooms.
You're the shroom dealer.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
I've been called worse, but yeah.
I've struggled the last 4 years with the lack of moisture and stuff, but I only went out twice last year, and I bet I found a couple pounds each time. Like they were pretty much everywhere.
Yeah, I've got them. I don't know if you can see it, but I've got them tattooed on my arm, and that's not a woman's name. That's Morchella, the scientific name for mushrooms.
Nice. No, last year I picked my first morel in years. I went out with a buddy of mine who enjoys it quite a bit, and he found them, and then I just went and picked a few.
Yeah.
Well, let's get back to fishing.
Let's do it.
As much as I love the mushroom talk, and really enjoyed your story, man, but they're not even a but. I just want to transition to fishing.
Absolutely.
You went down to the boat ramp when the Iowa state record blue got caught. What was that? That was less a month ago, right?
Yeah, it was probably a little over. Yeah, it was just a month ago. So George Thompson, he owns Missouri River Catfish Guides. And George is, and as you know, in the fishing world, there's a lot of hate. There's a lot of controversy, and when you're good at something, people just start hating, and so George is a little bit abrasive.
Hate, because I ain't no good.
That's why everybody loves me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So George has got a lot of haters, and I always preach to him. I'm like, man, he's like, man, I got a target on my back. I'm like, well, that's because you're in first place, man. You're catching big fish constantly. Every year he pulls a couple fish over 100 pounds, and typically bumping. And I'd gone out with him a few times. I caught a 91 which is my personal best, blew my personal best out of the water by like 40 pounds. And we made this, we made this deal that if he gets one that that maxes out his scale, his dad really wanted him to get a record certified before he dies. He's like, George, I want you to get one and certify it and get our name in the book. So, but we were adamant that because he catches them and then catch and release everything, no matter what. And we made the deal that if he got one and he called me, didn't matter what I was doing or where I was at, I got to go and make the trip down there. So I went down to the boat ramp. It was about 20 minutes away with my scale and an inverter power box, and went down there on the boat. DNR was there, Richard, and we weighed the fish. And on the boat, it was like bouncing from like 106 to 107. And we all talked. We all looked at each other and said, hey, you think we can get this fish to Rustic Cuts and keep it alive and get it released? And we all decided that with the temperature that it was and the condition of the fish, that we thought we could not only get it there in good shape, but get it released healthy. And we took all those necessary steps. I raced back, got my water truck. So at my shop, I only use well water. I don't use any city water. It's a lot of work. It's a process, but our live bait lasts a lot longer because of that. And I made the trip down there, got the water, met them back at Rustic Cuts. We put fresh water in there. He had oxygen, diffused oxygen going. I had one of my aerators that I hooked up to the inverter in there. And we got that fish there, got it out of the water inside. It was never out of the water more than 60 seconds. Got everything measured. He certified it, and we went to the river and released it. We got a video. I recorded the whole thing, and we're going to do an episode on that on my podcast here in a couple weeks.
That's awesome. What's the name of your podcast in case anybody wants to tune into that?
The Bait Shop Podcast.
It's pretty straightforward. I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
Why does George have haters?
George, like I said, he's a little bit abrasive. Social media, and he wasn't always like that, but social media has there's so much controversy, and everybody's always got an opinion, and social media gives everybody an outlet to voice that opinion. And kind of like me, he doesn't like a lot of humans, so he fishes alone mostly, even though he does guide. But it's just kind of, I think it's the nature of the beast. What's that kid's name? Jesse Lance, that caught that big, I don't know, 140 pound nose, but probably you do something good and people just start hating. Oh, yeah. For sure. I think so.
Yeah, I think that didn't even look like a fish. And you right? See some big 100-pound fish, and that was a whole different level.
Me and Sam had a conversation where we were talking about, what do you think is the biggest fish in the Missouri River? Like, if you sectioned it off and drained it dry and you could go and look at every fish in there, how big is the biggest catfish swimming around in there? And I said 155 is my guess. And to see that fish pop up, I'm like, I wasn't that far off,
Yeah, man.
12-pound coat away.
Yeah. Well, and he said he was only using like a small piece of carp too. That's the crazy part.
That's how it always works. Like, throwing the big baits are cool, and sometimes they catch a nice fish, but it's just, especially blue cats, like the freak shows hit like elephants eat peanuts,
Yeah.
But back to the hate thing too. Like, I wonder how oft or how much hate you generate. Like, so somebody says some shit and then you acknowledge it, and then that just leads them to say more and more and more. And I don't know. I always just ignore it, and I don't feel like people hate on me too much. I feel like my friends pick on me more than
I was going to say. I try to as much as possible.
And maybe that's it. Maybe it's perspective. It doesn't seem so bad because my buddies are so hard on me.
Yeah, I think it comes with and my saying is, if you don't have any haters, you're doing something wrong. Haters are just confirmation that you're doing something great, and jealousy comes in, I think, and it's easier to hate someone because they're better at something than you, or I don't know. It's like a psychology thing, and social media is just like it's like a world divided, on all kinds of topics, not just fishing, but if you don't have haters, you're doing something wrong.
I think it's a mind reading device. Like, I think people have always had these thoughts, but they've been in social situations where there's people to listen. They would never say them, but suddenly you can type them out and, post them with no immediate repercussions, and they can, share what they're thinking. So I don't know. That's my theory on it, for not that it amounts to anything.
Yeah, you can be a pussy and not have to say it right to their face and look them in the eye.
Yeah, it's powerful looking somebody in the eye, man.
Yeah.
What's George's guide service?
Yeah, I try to Missouri River Catfish Guides.
That's pretty straightforward. So George, who is the owner of the Iowa Record Blue Catfish, his guide service is Missouri River Catfish Guides. Check him out if you want
to. Super good dude. He's a family man. That day he was out on the boat with his wife and 2 kids, young kids. I mean, I think his youngest is like a year or a year and a half. And every Sunday he takes his family out, and it was a Sunday he was out, and I think it was just cooler than hell the way it all worked out, and super proud to be a part of that, because it was all the stars had to align to get that fish certified weighed and back in the water. And George is the type of guy that if he thought for a second that fish would have died, he would have put that fish back in the water immediately. We almost had to talk him into doing it, because he's like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't want to kill that. He said the words, guys, I don't want to kill this fish for a piece of paper. Sure. So nothing but respect to George for that and his take on it. And I was happy to be a part of it.
I'm gonna have to reach out to him and try to get him on the podcast. Is he a podcast kind of guy?
Yeah, he'll jump on for sure. He wasn't before, but he had to do a bunch of interviews and different news stations reaching out. And the dude's got a multitude of knowledge and techniques that definitely deserve some recognition, because the dude consistently puts pigs on the boat.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was going to ask you a bunch of questions about it, but if we can get him on the podcast, it'd be more enjoyable to hear it straight from his mouth than us just speculating it.
And I think it's awesome that the record got broke by a hammer and not just somebody who lucked into one.
Yeah, with a floating hot dog down the river,
Yeah. He deserves it, man, for sure. And
you know what I just realized, Ryan, is we have the same koozie.
Nice.
Yeah. It's like we wore the same outfit today.
You guys are matching. That's cute.
Yep. Adorable. What how long do you think the record's gonna last?
Not long. I'm surprised it hasn't already got topped this season. A year max. It'll be caught. If it isn't caught this season, which this season's dwindling down, I think next year for sure. Yeah.
Well, on social media wise, this fall has been monster heavy. Like, there's been some toads caught.
Yeah.
In the last month or two.
I think there's just more people sharing it. It happens, and I've heard a few things through the grapevine through the years, and it doesn't. The only thing that feels different to me is that one that Jesse Lance caught. Like, I've heard of a handful of 100-pounders on the west side of Iowa every fall. Every single fall, and George he certified his. I mean, his was big. I'd never heard of one as big as what George caught, but those 95 to low 100s fish get caught every fall, it seems like. But then Jesse's fish, that thing's a freak show.
Yeah. It is, man. And I want to touch on the fact that, like, there's so much in the to go back to the hate thing. There's so much hate that everybody's like, that record's been broken 100 times. Well, no, it hasn't because you didn't certify it, so it doesn't count like an unofficial state record. And it's like I get it. People have caught fish over 101 pounds in Iowa and they've thrown it back. Good on them. But this one didn't go back until it got certified, and then it went back, and it went back extremely healthy. I mean, the release video, you can see, you get in the water and you try to, let it sit there and move a little bit and get some water and some movement. This thing was ready to roll. I mean, it took off like a tank and went back in the water. So,
yeah, he had that dissolved oxygen in him. He had a little spunk in him.
That does make a difference. You run that on them fish during a tournament. It's like substantial difference when you pull them out of the live well to show them off to the crowd, and they just beat the shit out of you.
Crap out of you.
Yeah. What's the craziest thing you've seen come out of a fish in the live well after you put it in there?
I'm not the best guy to ask that. I mean, I've seen some stuff, but most of my boats I've owned don't have live wells, because if I keep a fish, I kill it. And if I'm not going to kill it, I just let it go. I haven't fished that many tournaments, but last winter, before I wasn't going to put the fish in the live well. So this is kind of a spin-off of your question. But when I pulled it into the boat, I had a blue cat throw up a coot. And it smelled horrible.
Very cootish.
Yeah. Like, imagine if you took a coot and rolled it up in a dog turd and then let it sit in the yard for a day or two. That's how I imagine it smelled.
A coot is like a mud duck. They have like neon green feet, but they're black.
Okay.
Yeah, when you see
I'm not into waterfowl.
When you see if you're on the water, you'll see them. They're just little black birds that look like tiny ducks, and they got a whitish beak. They have weird feet, but you never see them. At least I don't, because they're always in the water. But yeah, I don't know if this fish ate a dead one or a live one, but he ate one, and then he threw it up all over my boat. And it smelled horrible for days. Like, it wasn't a one-day event. It was a multi-day event.
Yeah. I don't know what happened, but somebody said there's like a train that hauls potatoes. But this year, I had multiple reports of people finding whole potatoes in their live well after they had a fish in there. I know.
Did either of you guys see the picture that was floating around online where a dude was cleaning a blue cat and it had a dildo in its stomach?
No, I didn't.
Really? That was all over Facebook for a while.
I guess I don't remember that, but I think I would have remembered that.
Yeah. Some things just stick
what
out.
What kind of stuff are you watching, Spencer?
Yeah. The algorithm knows me. All right.
The potatoes.
Yeah,
but you said
weird.
Yeah.
You said there was like a derailment or something. That's how they got into the watershed, or
I remember somebody saying, it must have came from the, where they load train cars or unload train cars or something up in Sioux City. So who knows? Huh. Maybe I need to start selling potatoes for bait.
I mean, the profit margin on them would probably be pretty high.
Right. Yeah.
No, I'm trying to think. I've had a lot of blue cats throw up corn and soybeans, but those are ones that you catch below a granary. So if they're going to eat that stuff, sure, they'll eat a potato.
Yeah.
I've never used a potato for bait. I always get stuck on that.
I think it's going to be on the list. Yeah.
I have a hard time sharing potatoes with catfish. It's like, I don't want to use bacon for bait because I want to eat the bacon. I love potatoes. I ain't sharing potatoes. Definitely ain't going to give them a steak.
Yeah.
I
use mulberries.
That used to be a childhood secret. You just wait till the mulberries were ripe and find a tree right along the bank.
Yeah.
I've had catfish throw up mulberries in the live well. Now that we're talking about
it. Yep. No, when I'm chub fishing for bait and stuff, there's always mulberries along those like spillways and stuff. And I've ran out of worms and corn and whatever I'm using, and I go walk in the bank looking for a mulberry tree, and that's what I'll use if I run out.
So do you catch a lot of the bait you sell?
I started to this year. I don't catch obviously the goldfish. I order those from down south. We go get them now because the price difference is just crazy. Trying to, they think they're gold, so the price, the further north you get, yeah. But goldfish. I don't catch those, but the chubs this year, we probably caught about 2,000 chubs that we caught ourselves and sold.
Nice.
But I just buy most of it. The minnows, we'll go through like 10 gallons of minnows on a busy weekend, and there's no way I can trap that many in the time frame, so crawdads, I'll go out and catch crawdads and stuff once in a while, but I'm so busy that it just makes more sense to just order it.
I mean, if you make the profit margin on it, it just saves you a lot of time for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Shad, on the other hand, now shad's the one that I've been focusing on, and I'm going to catch my own shad. I don't want to buy shad ever again.
Why?
Just the price. If I can go out and, if I get a pack of shad with, I'd say probably a pound of shad, I'm paying like $8, $7 a pack, vacuum sealed, and I sell a ton of it. I mean, I sell a shit ton of shad and skipjack, but I figured, I can go to certain bodies of water and near Des Moines and certain areas and spillways.
You stay out of my shad.
No shit.
Yeah, you know where I'm going. Yeah, that's why I said certain bodies of water. Yeah. But no, it's shad's just, I sell so much, and I mean that's the one that I can make a bunch of dough on and change my numbers for sure.
One trip, as long as you can, frozen shad's not near as good as fresh shad, but when you pile up pounds and pounds and pounds of it, I mean, I could see it being worth the trip.
Oh yeah, no, I've had trips where we get 300-400 pounds of shad and do the ice and salt solution, and it's insane the work. It's a lot of work and it's nasty stuff, but and then I live on Lake Manawa right here, and there's a huge shad population there. So I've got to get better at getting up early in the morning and just going and throwing the net a couple times before I go to the shop. It's about 5 minutes away from the shop. That way I can have fresh shad and sell it fresh shad. People love it. That was the number one bait this year was fresh shad. I've never seen, and frozen. I've never seen a bite like this. The carp was not hitting at the beginning of the year. It didn't turn on. The carp bite did not turn on until right at the end of the season. But yeah, shad was the number one bait for sure.
That makes sense.
No, so that's when you said you were catching your own bait, I was thinking of time versus what you get out of it, and I was a little surprised there, and that's why I was curious. But on the shad note, pre-spawn, shad's my go-to. Post-spawn, that's when I switched to the silvers and the big heads. But I'm kind of curious. Patrick had a good question there about keeping bait. So you have goldfish, you got creek chubs. What other live baits do you have? Minnows?
So goldfish, creek chubs, sucker chubs, or suckers. I get people just beat the hell out of me because they're like, those are not a chub, those are suckers. And I'm like, well, we call them sucker chubs. Yeah. So, and then we had like 15, 16-inch sucker chubs. It was insane.
That's awesome. How do you keep them alive?
Well water. I use well water. I've got a chiller, and that's the key that I've found is well water. I don't use any city water with any treatments, like the chlorines and all that crap that's in there. It's just the fish don't last long that way. So, constant, and then keeping it chilled. You got to keep it like under under 54 degrees. I like right at that 51, 52 degrees, and constant water changes. But yeah, that's why I like the shad too, because you ain't got to keep it alive. You just get it there, kill it, and ice it.
It's like a
But then
blessing.
so I do. Yeah.
On the
So we
shad.
do. Yeah, definitely. Green sunfish. We had it worked out with the Iowa DNR that we could sell live bluegill and live bullhead in the state of Iowa. We got a license, we got a permit, we got everything done, and then my competition just absolutely threw a fit. And the commissioner of the DNR somehow got contacted, and he shut it down this year. So we had the permit to sell live bluegill and bullhead for about 48 hours, and then it got shut down. Yeah,
that sucks.
It was a good run.
It was. Yeah,
I've
sold 49. We sold 49 bluegills.
Companies sell you water, and the bullheads just happen to be in them. They sold you the water.
Yeah. I don't play those gray areas. You know?
No, it's not worth it when it's your main income.
When I was down in Alabama, there was a guy that he was a commercial bait salesman. And then the first year I was down there, first winter I was down there, you could sell skipjack legally. And then they outlawed it the second winter. And I ran into him. I never once bought a bait from him, whether it was legal or not. But the thing that stuck out to me was the second year, he's like, yeah, I can go get you bait. I just can't sell it to you. So you can take me on as a 1099 employee and pay me by the hour, and I'll just give them to you. I'm like, man, that's pretty sketch. I'll just go catch my own skipjack.
Yep.
Yeah, for $5 an hour, you're hired.
Right.
Yeah, no doubt.
No, there was times where that was one bummer thing about that out being in Bama is I felt like I was a slave to the skipjack. Like, because if you don't have skipjack, you don't have much, and staying on the skipjack all the time was pretty tough.
And time consuming, and
well, that's the biggest thing is time consuming.
Yeah.
Speaking of time consuming, Joel, do you have much time to fish as a bait shop owner?
Man. And that's the funny thing. I was like, man, it's a great idea. I got this great idea. I love fishing, so let's open up a bait and tackle shop, right?
And never fish again.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's crazy. No, I don't get to fish very often.
A lot of creek chubs.
Yeah,
scratch your itch that way.
Yep. Now that I'm going on year 5 though, and I moved to the lake, so my house. A lot of guys, my buddies are like, you don't live on the lake. You live across the street from the lake. I'm like, okay. So there is a road that separates my house from the lake. But I made it a point to start going out in the morning and drink my coffee, let my dogs run, and fish, even if it's just for like 15 minutes. So I started doing that this season quite often.
I've heard that lake you live on can be pretty decent at times.
I'm telling you, man, Lake Manawa in the next few years is going to be a trophy walleye lake. I've seen probably 3 or 4 28-inch walleye come out of there. Hundreds and hundreds of 24, 25-inch walleye. And it's not uncommon to, catch the 16 to 20, 21-inch walleyes too. And then the channel cat, man, I've seen some tanks. I'll send you some pictures. They're huge channel cats in there. And it gets a lot of negativity because it's the city lake, and there's a lot of recreation and boating. So if you go there at noon, which a lot of guys go there like from like 11 until 5 o'clock in the afternoon, they're not fishing and they're not biting. So it's you got to be there at the right time. But that lake is 100% going to be a trophy walleye lake, and seeing some great numbers of channel catfish. There's flathead. Every species in the area is in there.
Right. Well, it's isn't it an oxbow off the Missouri River? Wasn't it? You know what I'm talking about? Like it was once part of the Missouri, and then the Missouri carved a new channel, and then the lake was left over.
I believe so. Yeah. Yep.
There, if it's not that one, there's another one down in your maybe south of there that is that. Joel has a good question,
Yeah.
which I'm going to ask it because I got to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. But do your customers expect you to be the expert? Because he ends up asking bait shop guys tips and tricks. And, now that I think about it a little bit, whenever I go to a new area, one of the first things I do is swing by the bait shop and ask them. And most of them don't tell you anything that amounts to anything.
No, absolutely not.
So that's actually kind of like part of my, I would say, I wouldn't say motto, but just kind of the way I am. And what I noticed from other bait shops, especially the one here in town, it was kind of like the next mentality, So like you got a customer, they're asking questions about the fishing, and it's like next, they're like looking behind you, like, So I made it a point to take the time with people and give them as much information as I can without giving out other people's spots. But yeah, no, I tried to. I've learned a ton, And when I first opened, I thought I knew everything about fishing. I was like, this will be great. I know everything about fishing, and I got humbled real quick and realized I don't know shit. And but I've learned a lot, and then I've learned more from my customers than my customers have learned from me, but I've been able to pass that knowledge along. But if you've watched Home Improvement you ever watched that show? And got Tim the Toolman Taylor, and then you got Wilson. You got Wilson next door, and Wilson's telling Tim all this stuff and all this knowledgeable stuff, and then Tim goes to repeat it, and that's me. So sometimes unfortunately, I don't give the best information.
Yeah, well, like Spencer was saying, most of especially if you go to, I go ice fishing up South Dakota or something, and if you're not a local, they send you on wild goose chases 9 times out of 10.
Oh yeah.
It's like, come on, man. I'm here spending my money. Give me something.
Yeah. Now, if you look at my reviews on the Facebook and Google, I think there's like 230 some reviews, 5-star reviews on Google, and a lot of them will say, Joel, and my employees too, hey, Joel was super helpful, a couple good spots, and I do try to genuinely help people catch fish. That's always been my number one goal. Is I want my customers to be successful. I want them to catch fish. So I try to put them on them. Yeah, and most of the time it's some dad taking his kid fishing, or I really try to help people catch fish and give them, authentic information. And I love the success stories when they send me pictures of them, catching fish, and they're extremely happy because I helped them with maybe some bait presentation or, something like that, and my shop's got like a bar, a live edge bar, super nice, with bar stools. And I encourage people to come in and sit down and just talk. We talk fishing, bring your tackle box in. And it's allowed me to connect with the customers more and give them a little bit more of a, more personal experience.
Do you ever do events?
Yeah, so we do them all the time. So I'm super active in the community. We've got Jay's Weights. If you've seen Jay's Weights online, he sells it for like $3.50 a pound. We did a giveaway for his 10K member giveaway. We had like 1,000 people show up. We had like 10 CR boats. We kind of organized it to where the guys pulled up early in the morning, got our boats set up. And Jay gave away like $8,000 worth of stuff that day for different vendors and different companies that donated it. So we do fishing derbies. I just started doing a youth fishing seminar to where, the parents bring their kids and we teach them how to tie different knots and show them different presentations and go down to the lake and fish afterwards. We do an ice fishing tournament, and I'm always doing different things.
Do you let adults come so Ryan can see how to tie a fishing knot?
I've got to interrupt. My twin brother just sent me a message. I'm going to try to get it on my camera here. but it's the Northern Lights. And then if you look close, it says, you suck at fishing.
He ain't wrong.
There's probably 10 times a day, like we send stupid shit back and forth to each other.
Yeah.
That's pretty good timing.
That's what brothers are for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just one of the things.
Yeah.
No, that's the whole events thing. That's something, it seems like bait shops that are successful do things like that. So that was kind of where my head went. Yep. But, so just one of the random questions that I had, just because I don't have a good answer. What is more important, the right rod or the right reel? And you deal with tack all the time, so this is a great question.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the right. Man, I think honestly, this is what I tell people. If something makes you more confident, if you feel more confident with this reel or with that rod or this color, I always say go with what makes you feel more confident. You're going to catch more fish if you're confident, or you're at least going to, feel better. I don't know if that makes sense, but when we're getting to the nuts and bolts of it, I think that the right reel is going to be the most important. That's just my personal opinion. If you're fishing for trophy fish, big fish, because I've had reels just fail on me mid fish, and what do? You start pulling it in or walking backwards. I think the reels take the most abuse. A rod's a rod, and getting into that, it's kind of a touchy subject, but I think most of our catfish rods are made in the same factory on the same street in China. And, an S-glass blank rod is the same S-glass blank rod no matter what name's on it.
I disagree with that. I just
most
designed them.
I know most. Yeah. But, and it's just the rod games came so far, and then I think the market just got so saturated that for me it goes back to what you're confident with. But I go fishing, and man, some of the guys are going to hate this, especially over there at Catch the Fever. But all my big fish that I usually catch, I'll have a badass Hellcat with everything set up, and I'll have those out there, and then I'll have my Walmart pole sitting out there, and that's the one that gets hit 9 times out of 10.
That's cheap fishing. You just
$40.
That is fishing.
Yes.
Yeah.
The only way to prevent the big fish from hitting the shitty fishing combo is don't use it. Because if you use it, he's hitting it 10 out of 10 times.
Every single time.
Yeah.
No, that's where I've all I do, like if I'm chasing big fish, I don't play around with little dinky stuff anymore because they will absolutely get smoked. And not that that's not a good time. Like you hook a big fish on a channel cat combo, and that's a good time as long as you land it. If you bust off, then you're all pissed off. But Ryan, what do you think, man?
Yeah, for sure.
I'd have to go with rods, especially I've been kind of screwing around with circle hooks on flathead, and
because we're talking about the most important thing for catching fish.
Yes, like the way the rod loads up. In a rod holder makes 1,000 times different on hooking that fish versus it missing the hook.
Right.
Where a reel, I grew up, I'm a pin guy from way back, the old 209s and 309s. That's the only reason I got big forearms is because I had to crank my ass off because the gear ratio sucks.
Yeah.
But those 209s and 309s winched in some big fish. But when I went from the pool stick cues down to something that's got some give that allows me to use leverage and set that hook, I caught a lot more fish versus missing fish.
Yeah, that's where my head's at, just because you can't land a fish until you hook a fish. and hooking the fish most effectively goes to the rod. When we're talking about catfish, the rod, not the reel. And I guess that would apply to every fish. Like if you're walleye fishing, if you're throwing a fiberglass, like South Bend, like like a cheap fiberglass rod, it's just nothing wrong with them. They're just not that sensitive. They're more of a bait type rod. But if you're throwing even a Berkeley Lightning rod, it's a cheap graphite rod, but they're way more sensitive than the cheap South Bend rods. And you're going to, it's $15 more, but for that style of fishing, it's so much more effective.
I changed my answer. You guys are right.
The peer pressure.
Yeah. No, I agree wholeheartedly, though. I do that. You guys are on it. The load, when it loads up, and the hook set, the right rod makes a night and day difference for sure.
Colin's got a good question, and that's one that I've played around with a lot. Does rod angle matter when it's in a holder? Like whether the holder's on a boat, on the bank, or whatever? Absolutely.
Yes. I think so.
What I try to shoot for, where I've had my best hookup percentage, is to have the line coming off the rod at a 45-degree angle. So if you're fishing,
they actually have to pressure down.
But if you go too high, like if you had a rod sticking straight up and down and your line straight down under the boat, you don't hook very many fish.
Well, the rod doesn't load up the way it's meant to either.
Right.
Yeah.
It kind of slingshots the bait out of their mouth. Like you'll see that rod tip just fold down, and before everything else starts to give, it pings back up. So like if you drop your bait straight down off the side of the boat, you want your boat or your rod straight out the side. So it's at that 45-degree angle. And
it looks cool when it gets taken down.
Oh, it's the best. Yeah. Like when I have dreams about getting a bite, it's a rod drop straight off the side of the boat. But about that 45-ish degree, you go too flat, and you get it wider, then it's just the rod isn't.
You're pulling out, not down.
Yeah, it's just pulling against the reel, pulling against the drag. I like that 45-degree angle. No, Colin, you struck a nerve. Like I think that's something really important where people miss the boat. It doesn't matter what rod you're using. I think that's absolutely important. Ryan Kruger brought up a point. He said that Spencer has got the biggest flathead of the year. I do not. Ryan caught a 60 this year.
No, he said that when you were giving me shit, he just told me to remind you who got the biggest flathead of the year.
It's because I baited your hook. I casted it out for you.
You did, and then slept through the fight. Yeah, Spencer's always been my best and cheapest guide.
Yeah.
He takes me on these great adventures and then falls asleep and I reel fish in on his rods. It's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah. I keep trying to tell you to come down to Texas and you keep blowing me off. But
well, we got to wrap up my year and then I'll get some free time.
Fair enough. All right. Because this is a fishing podcast, we should probably talk about some fishing stuff. What, you got any tackle tips? I'll let you go, Ryan. You sent me a bunch of stuff to talk about. It's good, but I don't want it just to be everything I'm talking about.
The tackle tips are try new stuff. If you're not having any luck, try a different presentation. The tackle game, the floats, all my bigger fish, my blues are all caught with the floats, with the rattles, whether it's, the big ones or the small ones. I always thought it was gimmicky when I first got in the business. And I'm like, what's all this crap they got, pink floats with the little twirly thing and, this and, you got to try new stuff, yeah, you can catch an old-fashioned and a weight, but you get more if you try different presentations and always try something new. And YouTube, man, watching you on YouTube, and another good friend of mine is Josh, Pig Patrol. watching his presentation on stuff, which it's usually like a 6 cent swim bait, and he's catching flathead and walleye and whatever. But you know, and always be willing to sit down, watch a tutorial or a video of somebody that does it better than you and has more luck, and see what they're doing, and just try it. Don't be afraid to try new stuff.
I'll tell you what, that son of a bitch, Josh, will play it off like he's this dipshit out there just screwing around, but he is a good fisherman. Like, he tries to act like he's not, but he is a good freaking fisherman.
100%, man, and a super good guy too, you know. But the way he does it is consistency. You know, it's a numbers game. You know, you guys that do it on YouTube and you know, are videotaping it, people don't see. They see like an hour video or a 45-minute video or whatever it is, and you're just nailing fish, and it's like they don't see the 26 other hours that it took in those 2 days. You know, they don't see all the failed attempts, and you know, it's a numbers game. You got to be consistent and keep trying if you want to catch fish.
For sure. For sure.
One thing I want to run back on the floats and the rattles. I've noticed this year that if you have rising water and leaves and debris going downstream, a lot of times those floats will catch that debris and spin upon itself, and then you have a knotted up mess. So that's one thing to keep in mind when you're using that, is make sure.
I'm going to step away. I'll be back. I got to go find a charger.
Okay.
That's one thing that I really noticed this year on a few trips where I had rising water and a lot of leaves and stuff coming down. The ones with the floats collected that, and then you reeled it in, and the hook maybe, you know, wrapped around or something, where the ones without the floats were fine.
Oh, it's just a giant wad of crap.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And if it would have got bit, your chance of hooking up is probably slim to none.
Probably not. I mean, there's only been one situation that I've ever ran into where the fish didn't care. Like, I was below a dam down in Florida, and it had been really, really low water. And then suddenly, for reasons unbeknownst to me, because there was no rain, they just let the gates open. And
we're going to open it up.
Dude, the water came up like 3 or 4 feet in an hour, and there was all this shit floating down river. And my rods would get junk all over them. They'd be folded over in the rod, and then a blue cat would smack it anyway. They didn't even
I was just worried, you know, with it all bunched up, that if I did get a takedown, would that change the pressure of the hook, and would the hook work the way it should? And would it, you know, I just cut all my floats off, you know, after that and went floatless. But that's just something to kind of keep in mind while you're using those.
Yeah.
And floatless is way better than pantsless.
Depends on temperature. I don't like pants. Fuck pants.
Yeah. It's not.
I'm not even wearing any pants right now.
Hell yeah.
Pants free tackle shop.
Now, the other side of that too. So when you have all that junk coming down river, keep an eye on your swivel, because the junk hits your swivel and it'll wrap around the line and it'll keep the swivel from swiveling. And then that'll increase the amount of tangles you get, because your line's spinning, but the swivel isn't swiveling. So it just, you know, you get really bad line twist.
That makes a lot of sense.
Swivel ain't swiveling.
Yeah. I like my swivel swiveling.
I mean, you got one job to do.
I concur.
Right.
Yeah.
I suppose if I was a piece of terminal tackle, I'd probably be a swivel. So I only work about half the time.
Not really necessary for the whole system, but when I do, I screw up half the time.
Yeah. What's Ryan? I already know the answer to this. What's your favorite knot?
My favorite knot? is the improved blood knot.
For what? What do you tie with it?
Whatever needs tied. No, no, that's when I'm using mono. That's my hook knot.
I thought you were a polymer guy.
When I'm use braid, I am.
Okay. I
hate braid now.
You hate braid?
I hate braid now. Man.
I'm a braid guy.
I was rocking braid for a while, but I'm all mono. Andy mono, 100-pound.
100-pound.
Yep.
I thought Ryan was using the freaking cable with 80, but 100's new level. What do you hate about braid so much?
Yeah.
Did you lose a big fish?
The knots. Well, the knots just like it gets wet and it starts tangling and it just knots up and you can't fix it, man. It's just you got to cut it and start over once that happens. And I've lost more big fish on braid than I ever did on mono. I don't know. I mean, it's just.
Well, one thing that we have kind of noticed is when you use braid, you need the give in your rod versus when you use mono, you need a stouter rod because the line gives. So there's a lot of give and take on if whatever your preference is, you need to adjust for it.
Yeah, you need to pick the rod that matches everything else because it's all a whole system. You run braid, you can run. The thing I like about braid is you can downsize everything. Like you can fit more line on a smaller reel. The rod needs to be more forgiving. It doesn't necessarily mean it's lighter, but you just have a more compact system and just more enjoyable to fish with for me. Plus, it cuts current a little bit better. It's not as abrasion resistant, but if you fish really heavy drag like I tend to, you have pretty good control of the fish and you can keep them out of any problem areas. Although braid does pretty good on timber. It's concrete and rocks where you get into problems, but yeah. I mean, I converted Micah to braid. He got me out fishing him. I think he got tired of getting snagged because we were fishing heavy current, and he had to use an 8-ounce or a 12 to stay on the bottom, and I was getting by with a 5 or 6, and I wasn't snagging nearly as much as him with those lighter sinkers and catching maybe a few more fish, but he would just retie all the time.
There's definitely a place for braid over mono for sure.
Bumping for sure.
Oh, yeah, bumping.
Yeah. Yeah, as far as knots go for me, I tie a polymer knot or I'll do a improved clinch knot with the braid, but I'll run it through the swivel twice. So you go through once and then you go back through again and then you tie your improved clinch knot and cinch it down. But for mono, I like a uni knot, and I can tie a uni knot with 200-pound mono. Like next time I go gator gar fishing, I'm just going to use 200-pound mono so I don't have to crimp anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am not the knot guy. I suck at all different knots. I do the fisherman's knot. That's it. The twist through the hole, pull it tight. That's it. Yeah. But that's why I let my buddies my stuff on.
Oh, if I had to tie on Ryan's shit, he would never hear the end of it.
Oh, I hear it. I'm going to hear something, so it might as well be that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no sense of me tying my stuff on. I just catch them on Spencer's rod anyway. So
yeah. You want me to wipe your ass too while I'm at it? No, but yeah, I guess I don't get crazy fancy with knots. I have been playing around with the FG knot for braid to mono for a fluoro leader, like for walleyes and wipers. But I hooked a fish yesterday that snapped my leader off in about 3 seconds. So maybe I definitely have some work to do on
back to the drawing board.
Back to the drawing board.
Yeah, I struggle with that. Especially I was trying that Gliss. That's a kind of a hybrid line. and I could not get anything to hold my fluoro to it worth a shit.
Gliss? So, what the hell?
Yeah, it's kind of like a smaller diameter braid. Like you can cast that shit a mile.
How do you spell it?
GLISS.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah.
It also is an acronym for General Labor and Industrial Staffing Solutions.
That's mainly what we're talking about. But,
makes sense.
But no, I switched back to Power Pro, and now I don't have any issues. But I just couldn't get it to work.
Yeah, I played around with that cheap braid for the last couple of years, and it works fine. There ain't nothing wrong with it. It's just super thick. Like 100-pound Power Pro is thinner diameter than 80-pound Reaction braid.
Yeah.
And then obviously the break strength too. But it's not that big of a deal.
I like J braid.
Well, that's kind of your high end braid too. That would be, what's the other one? There's J braid, Moi Moi Diamond, I think is another one that's real good on that high end stuff. But anyway, yeah, that stuff, it's got higher break strength, thinner diameter, which thinner diameter isn't always the best thing with braid because that, it's not as abrasion resistant. That's why I use 100-pound braid. It's partially because I want 100-pound strength, but it's more so I want a little bit thicker stuff with, more abrasion resistance. But that reactive tackle, 80-pound, 100-pound Power Pro, they've been real comparable as far as abrasion resistance, and the Power Pro's much thinner diameter. So I'm digging it. It's more expensive, but
I mean, you're gonna spend money on something. Might as well be the best shit.
In coolers, I spend a lot of money on coolers.
Yeah. You know what they say? Cheap shit ain't good and good shit ain't cheap.
Yeah, I agree with that for the most part. There's always exceptions like, Ravix fishing rods. I feel like they're kind
of they got to be the best. They have to be.
The thing with them, man, I could have made them. I could have put on fancy handle, fancier guides, fancier reel seat, and that would have made the price go up way higher, but it's not going to perform any better. Like where it's at right now, as far as performance goes, I freaking love that thing,
man. I can't wait to get one in the shop. I'm going to get those in on my next order for sure. If they've got them in stock. They stocked up on them.
I don't know what I can say about sales, but I've been very pleased. That's all I know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been the world
on the Fever's one of my favorites.
Yeah, they make just good stuff, regardless of how you spin it.
Yep.
Like their rods, and then the slime line's been awesome too. All of it's been great.
And what a good group of dudes.
No, I've been.
We went there and hung out.
Oh, for sure.
And as far as a company, there's not a bad dude in that company. Like they're all fishermen.
Yes. And Nick's one of the.
I've been real pleased dealing with. I've been pleased dealing with everybody from Catch the Fever. Yeah, I'm just saying, I've been pleased with everybody from Catch the Fever. Customer service. I chatted with them down at the Catfish Conference. And man, just good people. Definitely good company to support.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Ryan, do you have any new floating down the river things that you've seen?
No, but when I was on Des Moines River the other day, I saw the biggest golden eagle I've ever seen in my life. It looked like a pterodactyl. The thing was ginormous.
Wait, sorry, I just tuned out. What'd you see? I was reading one of the comments.
A golden eagle.
A gold, floating down river?
No, he was hunting on the river.
Okay.
But it was the biggest bird I've ever seen. Like, it was ginormous. It made a bald eagle look small.
Like, I should find Skip and cover him up if I see one.
He'd have been gone. Yeah.
Joel, have you ever seen anything weird floating downriver?
Oh man, multiple things. Cows during the floods. Seen multiple cows. Propane tanks. Yeah, I don't know that I can say anything weirder than a cow floating down the river. Weird. But yeah.
In your area, you know, the human body probably floats quite a few times.
Yeah. Allegedly.
I saw my first.
Should have never went to my mushroom spot without me.
Okay. Some lessons are learned the hard way.
Yeah. They only get to it once. Now, I saw my first wild pig floating downriver the other day.
Deceased?
Down south?
Deceased. Yeah. Trying to think of what else. Saw some 55-gallon drums. The amount of soccer balls floating downriver down south, apparently soccer's more popular.
I don't know. We've seen some, on our trips. Like that island me, you, and Sam went to. I don't know how many balls were washed up on that island, but it was over a dozen.
That's true. I forgot that.
It was like all the world's balls just went to this deserted island.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to think
balls deep.
It was balls deep.
Yeah.
With beaver on the side.
Yeah. Now that you say that, down here, I haven't seen that many beavers.
Really?
I mean, I've seen some. Like, there was one the other night I could have went over and petted him. Like, he didn't give a shit.
Double dog dare you.
No way.
Those suckers are mean.
I don't know. Like, Ryan, how much money would it take for you to go pet a beaver?
None. I wouldn't do it.
Well,
I've been around them enough that
you wouldn't pet a beaver for $1 million.
No. Those teeth are just if they get in you, you're dead. They're gonna hit something important.
On your hand? Like people lose.
You have arteries like on your wrist and stuff. It could slash that. You'd be dead.
Dude, I'm way too quick. I would 1,000,000% pet a beaver for $1 million.
Challenge accepted. If I ever win the lotto, that's how you're going to get your first $1 million from me.
Deal. That would be awesome.
I want in on that one.
The old beaver petting for $1 million.
Oh. Yeah, that's. Yep, it's a deal. It's done. It's done.
All right.
Ride it up. But yeah, I haven't seen that many beavers. I've seen no muskrats. Seen plenty of wild pigs, alive and dead.
I always like seeing it always amazes me when I see deer cross the river, swimming. Especially the Missouri. Such like a fast current with just super deep holes. And I've seen mature bucks, and that's what I always say. If a big deer is shot in Nebraska, it definitely swam over from Iowa.
Dude, they haul ass too.
Yeah.
Like you would think they have little.
It's crazy.
You'd think they had little swimmer fins tied to their hooves, but obviously they don't. They're just cruising.
Well, you get in 5-mile-an-hour current, you don't have a choice but to swim fast.
Literal sink or swim moment.
Yeah. Do you hunt, Spencer? You do any hunting?
Not well, but I try.
The gun goes off.
I really like turkey hunting. That'd be my favorite probably, and pheasant hunting and quail when they pop up. I like hunting birds, but I want to kill a pig down here. There's definitely here's a weird one. The porch right behind me, there's it's a Pure and Vault foundation. So there's just siding like the house is up on some cinder blocks and there's just, corrugated steel around the base of the house, but there's one opening under the porch and there was a bunch of little hoof prints, like little itty bitty hoof prints going into that hole. I'm like, there's hogs.
You have a piglet.
Yeah. And I've seen a handful of them around the house.
Mean, dude.
Not when they're dead.
Those things are mean.
They're quite delicious when they're dead.
Very. Yeah. Yeah. I got my buddy Jason Badberg. We go down to Oklahoma every year mushroom hunting. And he got treed by some hogs one time, and he was up in that tree for like an hour. Babies, the next thing you know, came at him and chased him, and he's calling and couldn't get everything out of him. And then, he was in a tree with the hog waiting for him to come down for like an hour.
That's great motivation for me to carry a firing iron with me.
Yeah.
Which after that little potential cat incident that we talked about, Ryan, and I'll share it with everyone else just so you know what I'm talking about. But Ella and I went out fishing and I pulled the boat up to the boat ramp and Skip ran out of the front barking like hell, took off running like nothing completely out of the ordinary. But parked the boat, walk up the boat ramp, and whatever he was chasing was gone, I thought. And I go to hop in the truck and shine my headlight out in front of it, and there's a set of eyes shining back at me from behind this brush pile. But the way they looked at me and looked back and forth and very like nonchalant, not caring that much, it just made me think cat. And they're yellowish orangish eyes, and they were up in a tree, like whatever it was up in a tree. And apparently where I'm at, there's not very many mountain lions, but man, it seemed very cat-like. So next time, every other time I've been out, I've been carrying just in case, it doesn't hurt nothing.
Does no good at home.
No. And I'd be pissed if I died and didn't have my gun. No good excuse not to. But yeah.
Yeah, there are 2 mountain lions in the last, I think, 2 weeks have been shot in Iowa.
Probably by the Missouri River.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm sure it's at least along some river.
Yeah, something about the Missouri, predators just love the Missouri. I see more coyotes on the Missouri River than I do anywhere else.
Well, you go up north Iowa and the Loess Hills region, and that's a freaking wilderness paradise.
Yeah.
Yeah, that runs right through where we're at. I deer hunt and mushroom hunt all through the Loess Hills.
You mushroom hunt all through the country.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I because
what you cutting out? What's that you cut out?
I like hunting the hills. I like hunting the hills just because a lot of people don't get up there. They don't like hunting. It's easy to walk the river bottoms, but you gotta find in those hills.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I taught over in Western Iowa for 7-8 years, but I went over there a few times, and that's the only time I've seen multiple bobcat in a day is around the Loess Hills.
Yeah.
It's predator central.
Yep.
Yeah.
We see a ton of them around here, man. Bobcats, mountain lions. I've seen one mountain lion from my tree stand, and let's just say I stayed in that tree stand a little extra that day. I stayed there for some time till I left.
I've never seen a mountain lion. I don't want to. Like no definitive mountain lion. What I saw the other night could have been a freaking raccoon.
Yeah.
I just know it was up in a tree and it wigged me out. But I've never definitely obviously seen a mountain lion. Other than in a cage. I saw one.
There's something about when you see one in real life and you're in the wilderness, you're in the wild. it's an uneasy feeling walking out of that deer stand.
I wonder how many mountain lions have seen me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a completely different number.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I'm sure it's more than one.
Yep.
But yeah, when you're in that situation, you are no longer top dog.
No.
There's something above you, and that is unsettling.
No. Yeah, and I'm not top dog very often,
Absolutely.
so not a lot changed. But
well, between you and old Skip, I'd give you the nod, bud.
Yeah. You know how to make a
Doesn't
guy
mean he listens, but
yeah.
Yeah, if that was a bobcat that or bobcat, a mountain lion that Skip chased up the boat ramp, he is at one lucky dog. And maybe he's more intimidating than I thought he was, you know.
I doubt it.
Yeah. It's probably hearing Elle and I talking as we were walking up the boat ramp that scared it more than anything, but who knows?
Yeah.
Well, let's do the last cast. And Joel, that's all it is a chance to say whatever you want to say before we're done. It could be 2 minutes long. We could end up talking for another hour, but just what do you want to get out in the air before we call her quits?
You know, really it does do with change. And I'm sure you probably no idea. Mental health, man. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
I can now.
Okay. Mental health is, I think, something that needs talked about in all walks of life, all professions, especially with people like us that put ourselves out there. You know, you got to have thick skin, and you know, it's just, you never know what someone's going through, and just be kind. You know, I preach this to my kid. I preach it to my friends and my customers. You just never know what that guy's going through next to you. And mental health is just probably the most important aspect of things that is overlooked, especially in men. You know, it's nobody wants to talk about being weak or being sad or any of that, you know, and that's one thing that I pride myself on is I'm authentic, I'm open, and I think everybody struggles from time to time, whether it's you know, losing a family member or struggling with addiction, or you know, just not really knowing where you fit in at that point in time in life. And people need to talk about it more. People need to take time for themselves. And you know, I've had to ask for some grace from my customers. You know, they're needy, and they, you know, I love them to death. They're family, but my life's work is constantly doing for others. So just, I think it's important that everybody, no matter what you're doing, whether you're a tournament fisherman, whether you're just a weekend warrior, or you're you know, out there doing social media and YouTubing and all that, is just be conscious of not only everybody else's mental health, but yours. You know, take care of yourself first, and get back to enjoying fishing, you know, and enjoying the outdoors. And it's gotten really competitive. And we talked about like the hate that people go through, and so I'm focusing on that for myself. I'm going to be starting a Mental Health Monday, where I'm going to go live every day for lunchtime and kind of decompress the weekend with everybody, and you know, talk about the stuff I went through. And you know, sometimes life just sucks, and shit just keeps coming at us, and you know, just take that time to reflect and really get back to enjoying fishing for what it is. You know, slowing down that hustle and bustle from work life, and taking care of the family. And we just get caught up in everything to just, you know, that's my thing, is mental health awareness, and just putting it out there. I think guys just need to talk about it more. You know, what goes on behind the scenes when these cameras go off. There's real life stuff going on with everybody. Everybody's going through it. So that's really all I have.
No, that's all really good points. And the first thing that came to mind after you brought that up is from a dude standpoint, I think one of the best things you can do for your mental health is surround yourself with a bunch of good buddies. Like when you have some good buddies to hang around with, you just have a good time and feel great, enjoy yourself being around them. Like that makes all the difference in the world, like
that gives you that reset that you're like, all right, now let's start again.
Yeah. Somebody who can set you straight or at least listen to you whine a little bit and then maybe set you straight.
Then make fun of you and you're good.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Now I can't think about what I was going to talk about because I'm like, yeah, you probably should take time to think about your mental state.
Yeah,
having a good dog.
Yeah,
having a good dog like mine, who doesn't give a shit about you,
saves you from mountain lions and stuff.
Yeah, the least loyal dog that ever existed.
Yeah, he's loyal to Bacon.
That's true. I taught him that.
And a good
all
fish
dogs
fry.
are loyal to Bacon.
Yeah, we all enjoyed us some white bass for lunch today. It was a good lunch.
Yeah, that's the only time I've ever heard that dog listen is during a fish fry.
Yeah. He listens now to get back on the boat because he knows I'll leave him.
He don't want to be left down there.
Learn his lesson?
No, this would be a bad place to get left behind for him.
Yeah.
Well, Ryan, what do you got for your last cast, bud?
Well, Iowa is starting to chill out. So my animal control business is kind of slowing down and my guides trips are done for now. But if anybody wants to go ice fishing when we do get ice, it could be January, February. I haven't set any dates, but I do have 8 or 9 trips lined up. So if you want to get on the boat and get some ice fishing in, get a hold of me at tassaryan@hotmail.com or shoot me a text 712-269-3314.
I'll shoot you a text.
Good, because I'm taking you ice fishing.
Yeah. Actually, kind
Ryan,
of looking.
send me. Get my number from Spencer and send me. Tell Ryan get my number from Spencer and I'll guide service stuff up on my page. And if anybody wants to book a trip, I'll give them all the info.
That'd be awesome, dude. I appreciate it.
Yep. No, and I'll wrap it up and just say big thanks to everyone who took the time to listen to whatever you want to call this. It's a good time. Like I enjoy myself, so hopefully you all did too. It's every Wednesday, 7 p.m. until maybe daylight savings time's over. Maybe not. Like, I don't know. It just depends on kind of what following we garner from this. But either way, like, I really appreciate everyone who does listen and all that stuff. And I like that sound, Ryan. There's probably some other things that I should talk about, but I just can't think of them. So we're going to wrap it up here.
Last thing, talk about your 55 you got the other day.
Oh, yeah. It ate a 1
pound. That was one of the yellowest flatheads I've seen in a long time.
They all look like that out here because the water's so muddy, man.
That's awesome.
That's what the color of that fish is, the color of the water.
You know, on your video, he looked like a big fish, and then there was a camera angle that went into his mouth while your hand was already in his mouth, and you saw all the extra room that was still there. Yeah. You're like, whoa. Like you had the head of a 70.
Yeah, like
big blues are cool, but a big flathead, there ain't nothing like it.
They're the best. They're the best.
Yeah.
No, I just it just makes me wonder how big a fish are down here because it took me. I mean, that's as bigger than any fish I've ever caught in central Iowa, and it took 20 trips to make it happen down here.
Yeah.
So did I get lucky?
But you built up all those years of knowledge to put you in that spot too.
There is some. So most people are tuning out. I'm going to drop one little wonderful tidbit of information, like legit flathead information that I've learned over the years.
This is like VIP's time.
This is a VIP. Post spawn, you have this time frame where flatheads, they kind of do what flatheads do. You look for the deepest hole with the most timber. It's like normal, whatever. But that August to September transition, they move to old timber and reduced current in 5, 6, 7 foot of water. You don't want to fish too deep. Like you find a nasty brush pile in 20 foot of water and they ain't there. No, I don't know why they do it, but they do it.
Every turtle and channel cat is.
Yeah, absolutely. like that fish, that 55, it's November and he's on the pattern of what they do in August and September in Iowa, but it's the same damn pattern. He was in an old ash tree and reduced current in 7 foot of water. And that will play out. And no matter how high the water goes or how low the water goes, they're in 5 to 10 foot of water. Like they just move closer to the bank if it comes up. And if it drops, they move further away from the bank.
I wonder if that's because the water warms up a little bit more in those shallows. I don't know.
I just know they do it, and that's all I need to know. I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I don't overthink it.
Yeah. All right. Well, everybody have a good night. Appreciate you guys for hopping on. Appreciate everyone for listening, and look forward to the next one. I don't even know who the guest is going to be, so I fly by to see my pants. So this is going to be
we'll know by Tuesday.
Right. At least. All right. See you guys.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you having me on, Spencer.
You bet, man.
Nice to meet you, Joel. I'll be in touch.
Likewise. Sounds good.
Good night, everybody.
Peace.